Hi, and welcome to our book talk. Normally, this is where I do a snappy one liner, but our book talk today is pretty serious, so we're going to keep that tone the whole way through. Our book today is I Am Not a Number, written primarily by Jenny K. DuBois, and with a lot of help from other people in her community. When I say her community, our book today is about a First Nations girl named Irene. If you're not familiar with the term First Nations, it's similar to Native American or Inuit or basically the people who lived in the Americas before people came to settle it. And unfortunately, in the book, they do refer to them as Indians occasionally. So I'm just mentioning that because it is something in the book. So this is a mostly true story. While not a completely accurate depiction, it is a true story and it's told about the author's grandmother, Irene. Now, Irene is that First Nations girl and she gets taken away from her home to go to a boarding school, which was unfortunately very common in that time in Canada. And while a boarding school may not be the worst thing ever, these boarding schools were horrific. They punished the children severely for any infractions. They made them lose their culture. They punished them if they spoke their natural language. They chopped their hair and just generally didn't let them be who they'd always been. Now, again, normally I wouldn't give any kind of spoilers, but just to make sure you're not super sad and will never read this book, Irene has a pretty happy story. In the end, she is able to get out of the boarding school and doesn't have to go back. That's, of course, not true for every First Nations child who went into these boarding schools. This is one of those books that, while not necessarily a fun read, it's a very important read for us to remember the history of our world. And it does look about the size and shape of a picture book, but it is definitely not one I would let our youngest readers read alone. So that's been today's book talk. Y'all have a good one.